Greetings folks and welcome to another Pit of Doom. I'm Learned Rob and today we're going to be talking about the legendary Masters of the Universe and we're going to be asking ourselves, is it really that bad? Now, for those who don't know, and I'd be surprised that many, but Masters of the Universe was a major media franchise in the 1980s. It originally started off with Toy Line, the Masters of the Universe toys, and eventually became a very successful cartoon series known as He-Man and the Masters of the Universe after the cartoon lead character, He-Man. Now, in the mid-80s, Cannon Group were an infamous studio who were producing huge amounts of product and were not afraid to go for licenses. One of the licenses they went for was Masters of the Universe, which, should have been a surefire hit, let's be honest. But this was Cannon. Yeah. Now, Cannon had some major successes over the years, including films such as Sylvester Stallone's Cobra, which had made them $160 million at the box office, which is not money to be sneezed at. However, they were producing so much product at the time that they were losing money hand over fist. In 86-87, which was the time period that Masters of the Universe was produced in, Cannon produced somewhere in the region of about 40 films. Most of these ended up being flops. Indeed, the money situation was so bad that Cannon's other big film of the year for 1987, which was Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, had its budget slashed in half and had the unenviable task of trying to make Milton Keynes look like New York. Spoiler alert, it failed. But anyway, Masters of the Universe was set to be, according to Cannon, the Star Wars of the 1980s. Big claim. However, the film was only budgeted at around $22 million, which, even by mid-80s standards, was not a huge amount of money. But anyway, they went ahead and began filming. Unfortunately, they ran out of money right before the end of the film, which, as you'll see, leads to a small problem with the film's grand finale. But anyway, Masters of the Universe. What can you say about it? Yes, it has its flaws. The first flaw, and the biggest one for me, is the fact that the film is largely set on modern day Earth. Masters of the Universe, the cartoon, and the comic books and the toys were set on the mythical planet of Eternia. This was great, it allowed them so many options. However, obviously to keep costs down, Earth was used, specifically a lot of location shooting, because locations are cheap. You don't have to build sets, you don't have to spend a huge amount of money dressing them. It's there. A street is a street, an alleyway is an alleyway. Second biggest flaw, there's too much focus on the human characters. When He-Man and his allies, Man-at-Arms and Teela and Gwildor, who we'll get to in a minute, come to Earth thanks to Gwildor's cosmic key invention, they bump into a pair of teenagers, and too much of the film's focused on them. I was a huge Masters of the Universe fan in the 80s. I went to see this film at the cinema. I forced my mum to take me. I was so hyped. The last thing I wanted to do was see two teenagers dealing with teenager issues. I was like 9 years old. I just wanted to see He-Man kicking Skeletor's ass. That's it. That's all anyone would want to see in Masters of the Universe. So you want to see He-Man kicking ass. You do see it, but you also see angsty, real-life person crap, which no one wants to see in a film like this. Another problem was some of the changes that were made to the source material. For example, He-Man had Orko, his floaty wizard sidekick. Unfortunately, doing a floaty wizard sidekick, especially with 1980s effects technology, would have been hugely expensive. So Orko was out, and in came Gwildor, the locksmith, who invents the cosmic key. As a concept, I can understand this. It's cheaper to have a dude in makeup rather than the floaty wizard. But it doesn't work. Gwildor is more annoying than Orko. He really is. Indeed, Billy Barty, who played Gwildor, got a Golden Raspberry nomination for playing Gwildor. That's how bad he is. The rest of the casting is not bad. Dolph Lundgren's a bit wooden. He's be the first one. He's not the greatest actor in the world, but he looks the part as He-Man. He's huge, he's blonde, he's muscular. He looks like He-Man. The rest of the cast are pretty good, especially Frank Langella as Skeletor. It's clear from the off he is having an absolute ball. He is camping it up, chewing the scenery, and having an absolute riot, because we all know playing the bad guy is the best role in a film. You get all the best lines, you get to all the cool stuff. He's brilliant. But yeah, negative points. The makeup. The Gwildor makeup, the Skeletor makeup, the Beastman makeup, they all look quite good when you see them. Especially in stills, they look brilliant. In action, they're unwieldy. Both Gwildor and Skeletor's mouths barely move. They move about the same amount as the apes in the Planet of the Apes moved, and that was a film that was made some 20 years prior to this, and we had seen other films where prosthetic makeup had been done at this point, which was far, far superior. Again, this has to be down to a budget issue, I'm assuming. It was mid-80s canon, they were cheapskates. Other issues, pacing. The film's paced a little bit strangely. It just doesn't flow smoothly for me. You know, get a nice action-packed beginning, nice action-packed ending, couple of action scenes sprinkled throughout the rest of it, but generally speaking, it's not to the best. And its last problem was running out of money. That ruined the end of the film. You see, Cannon had spent this huge amount of money building this amazing internal set for Castle Grayskull's throne room, and it really is an amazing set. And you do get to see a lot of it. Somewhere around a third of the film, I believe, is set in this one room. But the epic conclusion that you expect to get? No. Cannon pulled the plug before this was filmed. So what you actually get is Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella in a mostly black set to hide the fact that there's no extras there, with just a couple of lights, having a slightly slow motion battle. Yeah. Not the epic you would expect. You know, this is the battle for the power of the universe. And to be honest, it looks like something that was put together to show the actors what they were supposed to do in the final confrontation, not the actual final confrontation. When the film came out, it took a battering. I mean, it was never going to be a critical darling anyway. You know, it's a fantasy sci-fi film effectively for kids. It is what it is. It has its flaws. Like I said, the clear lack of money, some bad acting. Although, props to Courtney Cox, she might be annoying as a teenager and look a little bit too old. But she's not bad. She doesn't have a lot to do apart from run and scream and, you know, be a damsel in distress. She does it well enough. But really, it's not as bad as people would have you believe. If you can separate it from the cartoons and the canon, not the canon group film, but the Masters of the Universe canon, it's a fun diversion. It's silly, it's camp, it's a bit cheesy. I put it in the same category as Howard the Duck. It's nowhere near as bad as legend would have it, but equally so, it's still not a good film. But you can get some enjoyment out of it. You know, a wet Sunday afternoon, stick it on, you'll have fun. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about Masters of the Universe. So, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, tell your friends, leave a comment just down below if you want to. If you don't. I've been Learned Rob. This has been the Pit of Doom, and this has been Masters of the Universe. Is it really that bad?